Welcome everybody. My name is Hans Rook. Next to me is Bo Stevens. We'll be presenting this webinar today, and we'll be discussing 5 topics on the product management team or product updates today. Last webinar we got feedback that we discussed too many topics, and there was also requested more demos, so we've tried to incorporate that into our webinar today. Still, we've got a lot of topics to share, so we have to talk quickly and start right away. Before we start with the agenda,
We have a sound check. Does everybody hear us clearly?
That's a good one as well. Can anyone confirm that we can be heard by the chat? Yes. Okay, thank you. And then next slide, please. It will take around 45 minutes, this webinar. You can ask your questions via the chat. We'll try to answer them as soon as possible. And if not, then we'll come back to all questions at the end of this webinar or via email if the list of questions is too long. It will be recorded and it will also be shared with you attendees, and the slides will also be shared via email. So that's how do you say that? Household messages?
I don't know.
Housekeeping?
Housekeeping.
Anyway, so yeah, let's start.
Okay, first half of the webinar will be presented by myself, Bo Stevens, also product owner, while Hans is more on the integration part of the product. I will more on the core recruitment platform as a product owner. So we have a kind of a split in this webinar. I will briefly try to talk you briefly through the following topics: the introduction of the My Assistant dashboard, which will be which currently is being rolled out to all customers. We've worked hard on several updates on the Carerix user interface in the past months, and we are still busy improving this also in the future. So I will shine a light on that. And maybe less. Oh, sorry, Siri is talking through it. I don't know if you could hear, but I switched it off. Identity access management, maybe not the most hot topic to talk about, but it's important because it's about security, and that's one of the pillars we are building our software on, because in the current digital world, security is one of the most important things, of course. Then Hans will take over and he will tell you more about the recent release of the WordPress Plugin version 3.0, but more important, he will introduce you to the new calendar interface and calendar sync. So that's probably the biggest part of the presentation, and also the most important part, I would say. And we will close the webinar with a little bit on Carerix automations and actions and takeaways. And if you have any questions, feel free to use the chat. We try to find a suitable spot to answer them. If they eventually will not get answered during the webinar, we try to get back to you personally via email to answer your questions. So do not hesitate to ask anything. We are happy to answer. Okay, let's talk business. The My Assistant dashboard. We are introducing this currently in close cooperation with several customers, and yeah, I'm going to talk you through what does it do. That's not very complicated, as well as the question for whom is it, and what data do you see, and there is a little bit on how to configure it, though that will not be in depth as we have documentation around that. What is the My Assistant dashboard? It's a visualization of your recruitment funnel. It's an operational dashboard, which means that it's per individual. So every user in Carerix has his own data inside the dashboard. You're looking now to the main dashboard, which is all matches that are currently in your funnel are displayed in terms of numbers, and they are divided by stage groups, and stage groups are a configurable part of the Carerix system. That's already for a longer time. So they are represented by the several blocks, and the match stages that belong to them are counted. So every candidate or that has a match on a vacancy in a certain stage will be counted in one of the blocks. The last two blocks are, and I have to excuse it's in the screenshot is in English, so I'm going to switch to, sorry, the screenshot is in Dutch, so I'm going to switch to the application because there it's, if I'm not mistaken, in English. Yes, it is. And it's also more convenient to click around in a live environment instead of talking about a screenshot, of course. But as you can see, you have the several blocks that represent the stage groups, and the stage groups obviously group different match stages. This is all configurable also for a longer period of time, so we reuse that functionality for this dashboard. And as a recruiter, you immediately get insights in your match funnel, so you immediately know what's currently on your plate and what needs your attention. And it also gives you insight, of course, in how successful you are as a recruiter lately. So we took a period of a year, and for the unsuccessful match stages, we took a week because you do not want bigger numbers here. That would not be beneficial in this case. The dashboard is fully clickable, so you can click on the match stage and you get to the match where you can possibly change the match stage if you like. You can also click through the candidate file if you like. And here you see that also in the candidate file, we present well, a funnel. So also on candidate level, you get immediate insight in how many procedures is or has this candidate been involved in the past, was he successful or not, and where, if he is in a current procedure, where in the procedure is he situated at the moment. Same holds for the job order. So also in a job order, that's maybe even more valuable. You get to see the match funnel. So how many matches do I have? If you click on it, you get to the matches tab and you get to see all the matches, as you can see. So you get immediate insights in where do I stand for this job order. What we're currently working on in a very near release, I think will be next week, is to make sure that you also get insights into an SLA. You can assign an SLA to, in general, so applicable for all match stages, but also on specific stages. So you can differentiate your SLA between the inflow and the selection, and in the end the contract stage group, if you like, or per stage itself. And then you get the possibility to visualize that in the dashboard, so you can immediately point the recruiter to those matches that possibly need their immediate attention. So I have to apologize, the screenshot is again in Dutch, but basically stage changed will tell you how long it has been since the last time the stage was changed. And if that period of time exceeds the configured SLA, then you get a red indication. So you immediately know, okay, I have to do something with those matches. So this is in the upcoming release included. If you want to know everything about how can I configure this dashboard, there is documentation available on our help, help.carerix.com, on our help center, as we call it. You get to, you will receive this presentation, so you also get the links to click through. We are currently rolling out. I think we have approximately 20% of our applications currently live for this dashboard, and the rest will follow soon in the upcoming weeks. If you are enthusiastic and would like to start with it today or even yesterday, well, yesterday will be difficult, but please let us know. You can send an email to pmt@carerix.com with a request to activate the dashboard now, and we will take care of it as soon as possible. But you can also wait, because we will roll it out automatically to your application as well. Again, if you have any questions, let me know.
Only one question, and we've just answered that. Patrick asked, when will the rollout begin? well, we already started.
Yeah, rollout is on the roll, so to say, and we are going to implement it for each and every one in the upcoming weeks. But again, if you would like to have it, if you would like to be sure you have it tomorrow, please send an email to pnt@carerix.com and we will manually set it right for you. Okay, briefly about the user interface renewals. What we've been working on the canvas, so that's basically the center of the screen, and the goal was to make it more unified, more one part. So this is what you had, and this is what you have currently. Well, not a big change for the eye, but technically it was quite a big change. What's interesting, I think, from a user perspective, is that we improved the deadline indication for activities. So previously, we only got a color indication for deadlines that expired, but we for the unity of the UI, but also for the user. Basically, this was feedback we got from several customers. Like, would it be nice if you can have a color indication for activities in the list? So red represents expired deadlines, yellow represents a deadline that's going to be expired very soon, within 2 days, so to say, and green is a deadline that's still open. Well, don't pay attention to the dates because I made a screenshot a couple of days ago, but that's just for the idea. The context bar then got a small change in this respect, that we added the icons in the context bar, just for clarification of what you're actually looking at. Some of the blocks are shared by several entities, and therefore it could be unclear what kind of file actually is active. Is it a job order? Is it a lead? Or is it an opportunity? So by adding the icons, which are also available in the history dropdown, you can easily tell what kind of file you're looking at or you're clicking at. Then the previews, and therefore I'm going to show you again in the system itself, because it's easier. We made some big changes there, or bigger changes, I have to say. For example, if I look into the match preview, there's a good example. I think all previews got a new header that offers the scrolling functionality that allows you to scroll through the list of the open list of candidates, or in this case matches, files, I have to say, in general, because it holds for any entity. Also, we implemented the possibility to quickly switch to related files. So I can see the candidate, I can see the job order here, the contact person, also the company where the job order is from. And yeah, for the rest, a lot of aesthetic changes. Maybe good to show is that, for example, for the contact tabs, we introduced the possibility to show the email address and the phone number right away, so you do not have to open the file and search for those values. You can easily use them from the preview. So there are a lot of changes like that. If you want to know everything, please consult our release notes of the past couple of months. Everything is mentioned there, or just scroll through it. Back to my presentation then. Yeah, what's up with regard to the UI? We are planning to redesign the user role page. That's particularly important for administrators, and also the attachment page will be redesigned, and hopefully in the next product update we are able to show you something about that. Okay, brings me to the identity and access management topic. I'll try to keep it short because Hans has a lot of important and nice things to tell as well. I think I mentioned the identity and access management stuff in the previous product update as well. It's not very hot topic in terms of functionality, but it's important because it brings security, access security, and security is, as mentioned before, one of the pillars we are building our software on. So it's more and more important in the digital world, and with all the developments, we to pay attention there as well. So the identity and access management platform, or IAM platform, as we call it short, is about authorization of users and also services. And with services, we mean software components that want to connect with our platform. It's about user management and user role management, password management, and session management. And with session management, that's a bit more technical. That's about if you log into Carerix, you start a session, so to say. If you log out, you end the session, and your session can also be expired by the expiration period. So I'll get back to in a moment. To keep away from the technical stuff, I have two very tangible topics to talk about, maybe to show you even around. One is the introduction of the multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication more or less existed already in Carerix, but in a very old-fashioned way, and it was what we called the token-based access settings, which basically was a confirmation link that was sent to you to activate a token before you could log in. This is going to be abolished, so the token-based access will cease to exist. And instead, you can make use of the multi-factor authentication, which is delivered within the IAM platform. MFA can be applied individually. Basically, it's always available for a user to set up MFA. But you, as an administrator, you can also decide to force each and every user to have MFA set up. And that means that everyone that will log in will be forced to set up the MFA. And the MFA will require a authentication app, can be any reputable authentication app. As an example, we mention also in the software itself the Google Authenticator or the Microsoft Authenticator, but it can be any authenticator app that you probably already use, and it will generate a one-time code upon your login, which you have to provide. The code will expire very soon, then you get a new code, so it's very easy, and you have to apply this one-time code every time you log in. The setup of MFA within the application is in a new menu that we call the account security. That's also the place where the user will have to change his password if he likes to. And here you can add the MFA. So you click on activate and you're being directed to this page where you scan the QR code with your Authenticator app to link your account to your Authenticator app. And then in the future, we will ask you for a code that you will get from the Authenticator app. I'm not going to show you because it's difficult with the mobile device and to have it on the screen, so we are not going to do that. But believe me, it's pretty fast, and it makes access to your system a bit more safe. Brings me to the next slide, and that's about single sign-on. We see a lot of customers that are asking actively to single sign-on possibilities. Previously, we facilitated that with basically with ADFS, and that cost us a lot of handling time. And the good news with the IAM platform is that it's becoming very easy to realize a single sign-on by yourself as a customer without Carerix having to assist you with setting it up. And it also means that it's free of charge. So that's the good news. We support basically all standard identity providers. So Azure Active Directory is being asked most, as well as ADFS, but you can also use your Google Workspace. Excuse me, I have to sip on my water. And any identity provider that supports integration with OpenID. And this is also situated in a new menu in Carerix, which is only available for administrators. It's called the Identity Access menu. And here you can also manage your password policies, which, by the way, do not apply if you have a single sign-on or identity provider in place, because then you use, of course, the password policies that apply to your identity provider. As you can see, I prepared here an IDP with Azure, Microsoft. But from the drop-down, you can tell you can also do it with Google and the OpenID and ADFS, the options that are already mentioned in the presentation. And I already have an active session with Azure. So if I log out from the system and I click on the Azure button, I will be logged in right away. In this case, it's not. There we go. Small hiccup, but it's there. So now I'm logged in with my Azure account. Brings me to my last slide. I'm very happy to hand over to Hans. It brings a couple of changes for both the user and the administrator in Carerix. As already mentioned, the change password now is situated in the account security for the user. And there is also no more the possibility for users to influence the password expiration date, which was possible in the past, which is kind of odd because it's of course company policy to decide if how often a password should expire, and that should not be influenced by the user. So that's being abolished, that option for the user. And for the administrator, you have the identity management menu on the left, where you manage the session timeout time. So how long does it take before an inactive user gets automatically logged out? Master user, so that's a possibility for our support team to be better able to help you in case of any issues, but you can enable or disable it from here. And also the MFA, is it optional for users or is it forced to anyone? And the password expiration date will be added here soon. Currently, it's still available in the general Carerix settings. And as already mentioned, the token-based access will be abolished. It's a lot of information, I understand. So please also refer to the documentation. Again, you get this presentation sent after the presentation. So click on the links or just visit our help center and search for the options and click through it, read through it and get to know more. It's being rolled out automatically and we hope to finish it in the upcoming quarter. Hans, I'm going to stop sharing so you can take over.
So I can start sharing. There we go, looks all right. So yeah, first topic, it's about the Carerix WordPress plugin. It's our plugin that helps customers using WordPress to connect publications in Carerix with their website and get applications from their website back into Carerix. Last Tuesday, we did a big release, version 3.0, major update, and it's currently available in your WordPress CMS to be updated from there, or you can also download it from our development toolkit, the so-called wiki. We have extensively tested it, of course, and it's live at this moment for 20 customers, and any web builder can now activate the new version as well. So why a new update? Well, new update brings you more flexibility when it comes to publications and how to present publication text fields, the blocks, on your website. So the job text layout is now customizable, and for web designers, this is a huge help, so they can be more flexible and create better looking pages or change the order of the publication text themselves. Also, the new plugin supports additional fields. So if you have created extra fields in Carerix, for example, spotlight vacancy, or some field that is very important for your line of work or particular information you want to also bring to your website, well, you can, because now you can use additional fields from Carerix in your plugin, so in your website. The job alert, if you use it, it now supports multiple frequencies, so you can give the candidates the option to subscribe to a job alert on a daily basis, 2 daily basis, weekly basis, or monthly basis. Technical topic is that the current plugin, or the new version, I should say, supports PHP 8.0 and 8.2. Furthermore, some improvements, fixes for multi-language sites in combination with the the widely used WPML plugin. And we also added a diagnostics page to the WordPress admin. This diagnostics tool helps you with information, as you see in the little screenshot right there, about the connection with the Carerix REST API to get the publication, WordPress version, PHP version, PHP memory limit, but also all the publications that were fetched from Carerix via the REST API. So for users, or for web builders, administrators working in the WordPress environments, very useful tool. The newest version it doesn't support the use of the WordPress feed anymore. It's automatically being transferred to the new connection via the REST API. Some links which you can access once you've got this presentation sent. Then second topic, it's the new calendar. So I'm going to dive straight into the demo for that. Yes, all right. The new calendar. Of course, you know, Carerix offers already a calendar. I call this Calendar 1, and the new calendar I call this Calendar 2. Calendar 1 is being replaced by Calendar 2, and there are some big differences, and I will highlight them today. But I'm going to take you from A to Z, from the beginning, how to install it till the use of the calendar. So new calendar is available after we have made the marketplace settings available for the administrator. Calendar 2 is currently in controlled release. So we are bringing it to customer batch by batch. Currently we have about 15 customers using it. And please ping us when you want to start using it on short term. We can put you probably on top of the list. What we'll do then is that we'll activate the marketplace settings. Then you've got this calendar settings right here. You click on install, you click on activate. I've done this, of course, for this environment already. And then after refresh your Carerix, you'll find the new calendar right there. And you'll also find a new block for calendar sync settings right here under my account. Here you will be able to sync your personal account to Outlook, or to Microsoft, I should say, or to Google. And you can also stop your synchronization or set your default calendar visibility from public to private. Okay, back to the calendar. Well, this is the new and fresh look and feel. There's 4 different views. You've got a day view, a week view. I assume this will be mostly used, a 2-week view and a month view. For the week view, in next release, we will also have a toggle. If you don't want to see Saturday and Sunday, you can leave that out of the view, and then you only see your weekdays. We have, of course, a selection box for the date if you want to move or jump to a week forward, for example. Then we have here the search box. Here you can look up your colleagues. For example, here, my colleague Leonard, and I'll open his calendar on the grid view, as you can see. And I can also add maybe another colleague. There we go. If I now think, okay, I want to create a meeting right there, I select the time zone and our time slot. The email addresses of my colleagues are automatically added to this meeting. I can create this meeting right here. You can change your dates if you want to, or your times. You can add a Microsoft Teams link. When you're a Google user and you have your Google account synced, this will be a Google Meet button, and you will create a Google Meet course. Then location. Then the type of the meeting. This is a Carerix drop-down menu. So this list will be exactly the same as the list that you currently have in your Calendar 1. Okay, it's going to be an internal meeting. The colors of that meeting will be represented in the grid view. I can already choose a result or add it later, and I can add some description also with styling. Then when I save this meeting, it will be synced to Microsoft, and Microsoft will ping us back when it's successfully created. This takes a little bit, but normally it goes very quick. Yeah, I can already see that it is created successfully because I see now here this join with Microsoft Teams button. I can edit this meeting. And if I edit it and I save it again, it will be temporarily be read only until the sync is done. Well, in this case, the sync is already done. So really, it takes about a couple of seconds before the sync is refreshed, or the sync is done, I should say. Furthermore, you can use email templates as you're used to from Carerix. The Calendar 1, I should say. And oh, I forgot. I can also, if I want to add a colleague, I can directly add his name here, of course, or if I want to find the time, I click on this button and then I get the view again where I can open the calendar of my colleagues, and I see that also this user PNT4 is available at the same time. So I save and return. I added that user to the same meeting. All right, let me check. Did I cover every topic? No, I didn't. Okay, let's move to a candidate. As you can see, we added also a new tab, which is called Meetings. Meetings now is a separate database, and it has also a separate tab in Carerix. It's not like Calendar 1, that it's all activities. Activities can be notes, tasks, emails, or Calendar 1 events. Calendar 2 is a separate technology, and it has a separate meetings tab. And maybe I've mentioned it before, but it will only work when you have connected it to Google or to Outlook. So it will not work as a standalone calendar. It will need to be connected with your Microsoft or Google account. I can create a meeting from here directly. You can see that the email address of the candidate is added to this meeting. I can also create a meeting from a match from the same spot, the meetings tab, but also if I want to from the context bar. I'll show you from the context bar. And then you'll see that there are no attendees except for myself added to the meeting, because a match has both a candidate or a contact person. So we decided not to add these automatically, but leave it up to you if you want to add a meeting or an attendee when you create a meeting from a match. the related files are added. So you will see here that with this meeting, there will be the related files are the candidate, the contact, and the vacancy itself. As said, when you create a meeting from a candidate or contact view, then the candidate or contact is added to the meeting on the fly. When you send or when you save this meeting, Google or Microsoft will send out the RSVP email automatically. I cannot type anymore. Let's go. Oh, let's go. And you see here that you can toggle between all users or colleagues, candidates, and contacts. And when I save this, at this moment, there will be, the meeting was created and there will be send out, or Google or Microsoft will send out the invitation RSVP email to that user. So it will drop in here, as you can see. This is automatically generated email with the yes, maybe, no buttons, as you are used to probably. If you want to send an email yourself to the attendees of that meeting, well, you can. And you can by using this by using the email button on the right side, when, of course, the meeting is created. So this meeting is now currently still being synced. Let me check another one. Yeah, there we go. So this is that email button as I was talking about before. Okay, let's go back to the presentation.
There's one question, Hans, about
right.
About the visibility of can each user see each other's calendar? What about user roles?
Well, currently we offer the functionality, I'll show it once more, for each user to hide or show the events to colleagues. So basically, when I have set this to private, all the meetings that from this moment on are created and available in my calendar will be hidden for colleagues. So I guess that answers that question.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. So I think I covered all these items. No, except for the last bullet. We need to be backwards compatible with triggers or with activity reports, dashboards, and email templates. So that's why we also create an activity. So the old calendar 1 activity. It's created so these functionalities still work. The calendar 2 has a separate database with separate database items, events, and this database syncs to Outlook. But as said, we also will create backward compatibility by creating the CR to do the activity in Carerix. This activity will be read-only, but it will show in Carerix. And yeah, it needs to be there to support triggers, dashboards, and email templates. All right, then to screenshot of that RSVP email that Microsoft and Google sent, then what's next? First bullet, easier switching to calendar 2 for Carerix users that are now using calendar 1 as a standalone calendar, so they don't have anything in Outlook. Well, if you switch to calendar 2, if your Outlook is empty, your calendar 2 will also be empty. So that's a big difference between calendar 1 and calendar 2. We decided after feedback that we will temporarily also show the old calendars next to the new calendar. I think I've got a screenshot right here. Yeah, this is how it looks like. So you can look up your old calendar still. For customers that haven't used the old calendar as a standalone calendar, but when old calendar was used to sync to Outlook or Google, well, of course, everything that is in Google or Outlook will also be in the new calendar. Another topic on our roadmap is to link manually with a file. I've demonstrated that related files are added automatically, but sometimes you want to add a manual relation, so manually link entity to an event. Well, that's next. I expect that within a couple of sprints to be ready. Also, we are developing support to change the public or private setting for a particular one meeting. So overrule your general settings for a specific meeting. And last but not least, the appointment planner. And this is, I always use a comparison with the Calendly. At this moment, I can only show you Figma, which is like a design tool. I expect it to go live within 1 month for the first pilot customers. Let me see if I can reload this Figma page. Almost there. So yeah, I'm talking about this scheduler functionality, which will add to the calendar. When you open it, you will be presented the scheduling pages. As you can see here, I have added two different availability pages for myself. I can create a new one. I can set all this data or this criteria for which dates and which times I'm available, how far meetings can be booked in the future, and you create then a link. And this link you can send out to customers or candidates via email or via WhatsApp or whatever, how you want to use that link. Once you have the link, you can reuse it over and over, of course, and candidates or contacts can pick a time slot, and the picked time slot will be updated to the calendar of the candidate or contact, and also, of course, the recruiter. So this is useful functionality that we will be adding to the calendar as soon as possible. As said, I expect to start pilots within 1 month. All right, then back to the webinar sheets. And this is a screenshot of a custom URL, a custom page, sorry, that will be then presented to the candidate or contact to pick a time slot. Then the last topic, Carerix Automations. Carerix Automations is a new product group at Carerix. We have selected a team of talents like Rosanne and also Nick and Misha to focus on the Carerix Automations. Of course, we already offer automations with our triggers. We have an elaborate set of currently we have an elaborate set of triggers, but it's mostly if this then that actions for a single event. And the action is also most of the time a single action. And we want to expand our range of automations. And we started doing that. It's really a focus point for us. That's why we created a new dedicated team for it. And of course, what we try to solve is that recruiters don't put too much time in repetitive, manual, or time-consuming tasks. So you can have more time for discussing stuff with your colleagues, making calls to customer or candidates, or playing table tennis, or whatever you want to do. This is our goal. So first solutions already available. First one is the intake forms on a candidate and placement entity. With this, you can create your own intake forms and use them whenever you are making a candidate record or a placement. You can select your own data, which you, every time you creating these candidates or placements, you need to collect. So it helps you doing this more easily without having to click or to find fields in Carerix, but you have it all at one place. Second one is a match cleanup tool. So automatically move matches. And then I'm talking about all matches when a vacancy status has changed. Publication refresh. That's when you have multiple publications and you want to automatically refresh them a day before the end date based on a period set in the medium of the publication. So you don't need to do that manually anymore. We will do that for you, or the automation will do it for you. Similar to publication stop. And last but not least on this slide is the social and campaign integrations. That is the integration with your tooling like HubSpot or SharpSpring or LinkedIn promotions, for example. You can integrate with these tools via our market or via our Carerix automation solutions. More on this topic will be shared soon via newsletters, website. And I know that we have in a webinar, but that's going to be in Dutch. So, keep note of our newsletter for more info on this. This is a screenshot of the intake form for a candidate presented as a pop-up. And as said, you will be able to decide what fields will be presented and what fields will be mandatory or read-only in these intake forms. Another example then for the placement. And I think that's everything for today. Bo, do we have any questions?
Well, we have still one open question left from Patrick, but it's Patrick, you asked can I send automated emails, for example, for the data protection regulation so that the candidate can accept it and will be updated automatically. That's apart from that has nothing to do with the calendar, so to say, but yes, that's possible. It's kind of an automation, basically.
It's already available.
That's already available. Yeah. If you would like to know more about it, please search for GDPR on our help.carerix.com. There should be.
Yeah, there is elaborate documentation how to set it up.
Yeah. If there are any more questions, I see one more question. There's one more question from Jolly, but Jolly, it's not entirely clear to me what your question is, to be honest. Maybe you can elaborate a bit more on it in the Q&A, because, yeah. So please refine your question and we probably can answer it. In the meantime, yeah, I think I would like to thank you for your attendance. Please feel free to ask any more questions, but also keep an eye on the channels. So carerix.com/academy for other webinars to be announced, which you can subscribe to. Follow the release notes, which will be published every 2 weeks. And if you have any further questions apart from this webinar, always feel free to refer to our support desk at support@carerix.com or by phone by the phone number as mentioned, with a +31 ahead of the number if you're calling from abroad. But it's open. or just contact your customer success manager. Let's see if what is the application we see on the last slide?
It's Carerix Seamless. It's a mobile application. I think Tobias is talking about this phone here.
Yeah, it's seamless. It's also available for each and every one. So it's a mobile application which is it should be active, so it should be activated in your settings. You can do it by yourself, and then it's basically the mobile solution that we offer at the moment. So Jordi would like to know is in the automation we mentioned the stop publication and the stop and the refresh publication. Isn't that already possible with the current automation? Do you need additional automation for it?
Yeah, you need the additional automation solution for that. To do that automatically based on the criteria stated in the example, when one day before automatically refresh. So it's not possible with the current set of triggers.
Yeah, so you need Carerix automations. There will be more information on those automations soon. I guess also in a separate webinar, but please follow our channels to attend any further information on that. I think if you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out. I will, in the meantime, I will answer Tobias where you should find. So it's customer.carerix.net is your application name, and you put a /seamless behind. And I'll write it out, and that should bring you to the mobile application as mentioned. I see no more questions coming in at the moment, so I think we are going to finalize this webinar, but not before I would like to thank you for your attendance again.
Thank you very much.
Hope to see you next time in the next product update, and wish you a nice day.
All right.
Goodbye.
Thank you.